Hey, Jordan Belfort here, the Wolf of Wall Street in the Wolf's Den, the beautiful Miami Bay, Biscayne Bay behind me here, right? We got a new look going on. We got the windows tinted. So, in the Wolf's Den today, I have a great guest, very smart guy, crypto wizard. This is a really interesting person, Richard Hart, very, very early adopter. His lowest execution on Bitcoin is 50 cents. He's the founder of Hex. And he's got some very, very strong opinions. So buckle down. Here he is, Richard Hart. Richard, how are you? How's everything today? Good?
Doing great. I just finished installing a bidet for my mom, which is funny. I put the title of the video, Rumored Billionaire Installs Bidet for Loved One.
So I got a great bidet story. So I did not grow up wealthy. I'm not sure if you did or you probably didn't. You're probably a self-made guy, right?
Sure.
So I grew up with great family, very educated, but no money, right? And so my first exposure to wealth was my girlfriend in college, my first girlfriend, real girlfriend, right? And she had a very rich dad, greatest guy ever, and he flew us out in my sophomore year to England on like a little trip, right? Never been overseas or anything. So he takes us we go to this beautiful hotel, we check in, right? And I'm fucking jet lagged. So she goes out with her dad and shopping in town. I'm at this place called Inn on the Park, which I thought was like the greatest. Now it's like a 4-star hotel. I thought it was like the Taj Mahal, right? Anyway, so they go out and like after about an hour, I have to take a pee, right? And I go into the bathroom. And I look and I was like, oh wow, they have like urinals and I fucking take a piss in the bidet, not knowing what it is, right? And then I'm like, something seems a bit. You know that feeling you get when you know you've done something you're not? Like you've done something that shows just how uncultured, what a Philistine you truly are. For the rest of my life, every time I look at a bidet, I'll always remember that moment of feeling inadequate, not knowing something. It's really interesting that I just
At least you didn't
anchor.
drop a deuce in there, man. That would have been
What's
way
this?
worse. At least you didn't drop a deuce in there, you know?
I know, right? Exactly. Right. Oh, wow. Really cool. Right. Yeah. Let's speak for that, I guess. Right.
I mean, some stuff is still unclear. Like, I'm still not sure whether you're supposed to face the wall or face away from it because the water still kind of goes the same spot. I
They're all
think you're supposed
different,
to
you
face the
know?
wall, but like, I'm not an expert. No one tells you this stuff, man.
I know. Well, like, I think it's like a certain amount of money you have to grow up with to understand what these things are. It's really interesting though. Like when I was started to really get into self-development and like limiting beliefs and how they start from moments, like, single experiences that you have. I realized like that experience, like it really, like I felt very inadequate in that moment.
Sounds like you've been to a date with destiny, sir.
No, yeah, well, I mean, I actually haven't, but I did go to a Tony Robbins very early on when I was first going on, to speak myself, wanted to see what he was teaching, and I was impressed. But I mean, I've done, I went to actually the guy who taught Tony, which is Dr. Richard Bandler, the guy who did NLP, we're originally.
Expert. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Jim Rohn is probably more of Tony's. I've done all of Tony's stuff. I've been to his island and done his coach training and like his everything, right? So stuff is like 85 to 90% awesome. There's only 10%
Yeah.
suck, which is a super high ratio. Let me tell you how poor I grew up, man. I went to an all black school.
First of all, where'd you grow up? Where?
I
Where?
grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's about
Okay.
20 minutes north of Miami. So they're making a movie about me. It should come out before the end of the year. Emmy award winning guys. And they wanted me to go through all my old pictures to show like, this guy didn't just appear rich and, rumored billionaire and all that. Like he had a history previous. And so it just so happened that because my mom got sick, I got to go scan all these pictures. Man, our cars busted. Like we never had air conditioning in Florida. They were rusted out so bad that you could see the floor. Like the floor was just rusted through. Like you could put your foot through if you wanted. So like we laid a piece of sheet metal on top of it. It just like slid around. So one of the cars didn't have reverse. All my clothes were from the thrift store. My gifts were like dumpster dive. We would sneak into hotel swimming pools to go swimming.
Wow.
Otherwise, ain't no such thing as a pool. And then growing up, my house is like 600 square feet. And then, my dad like built an addition and I never had a babysitter. I had a babysitter once my whole life. I think that was for the better. And I got lucky, it's funny that they stuck the gifted school in the all black area to try, I guess, try and help everyone else be smart or something. I don't know if it worked. Most people from my neighborhood didn't turn out so good, But like, and then I started a car stereo store in my front yard, and hired my friends once I was so busy that my dad was like, you got to get a store, because he would come home from work and there would just be cars all out front.
Right. Interesting. So were you a good student growing up?
I was a B student. I always wanted to get the best grades with the least effort. So that involved a lot of copying homework. I was late and missing the maximum number of days possible. And, I saw school for what it was. You're not going to use any of this stuff, literally. And so like I wrote a couple books for free. You can download t.me/sci-vive. And one of them is, why are we teaching people stuff that they're 100% guaranteed to forget? For instance, the order of the planets from the sun. I remember them because I know a little mental trick. Mary Jane eats many jam sandwiches under Ned's porch. But without that trick, I would not remember the order of the planets from the sun. And why would I care? I don't have a spaceship. I'm not going to miss my left turn at Mars. It's totally irrelevant, useless information, like the unit circle, like most things. That's a trigonometry thing. Like it's all crap. And it's basically like they want to keep you in daycare so that your parents can go and work. And then they make excuses for you to have to be there. All you're ever going to use as far as math goes for like the rest of your life is Excel. That's it. You're never going to use a compass. You're never no one even owns a compass. If you put a gun to anybody's head on the street, you're going to be killing people left and right because you ain't going to find a compass. Like it's just terrible that they waste everyone's time in this way.
What do you think they should, what should they teach? What should they be teaching in school?
Things that have lasting value.
Like, for instance?
Dealing with humans. The humans don't change. If you can sell one thing, you can sell anything. If you can tell if someone's being honest, you'll always be able to tell if they're being honest. If you can avoid getting scammed, you'll always avoid getting scammed. Fashion sense, personal hygiene. What does it mean to be a good friend? How do you give a good apology? These are things I'll teach you in my book for free, in my earliest YouTube videos as well. But they don't teach in school. And what could be more important?
How about history? History
is not actually that useful. Most people think it is for the same reason they think chess is. It's something that smart people usually know. But it's correlation, not causation. To derive the meaningful lessons from history, they could just give you the lessons straight up. Like, don't have a war against Russia in the winter, or don't try and pass this mountain on your way to go fight. Don't try and go over the Alps on the way to go fight. Keep your enemies close. But you'd be better off reading Sun Tzu or The Worldly Ways of Wisdom by I don't remember the Jesuit priest that wrote that. Or my book. They should just give the lessons instead of pretending that you'll remember the history. Or
so I guess let's break that. This is really important. Listen, it's an interesting point, and I agree with you in some respects. I think we probably agree more than it might seem. I think there's just semantics here.
You're gonna learn how to learn.
I think what you're talking about is
you're gonna say you gotta learn how to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say you're gonna learn how to learn learning stuff that you can use just as well.
I think what you're saying is it doesn't really matter to memorize dates and names and things like that, but the actual concepts themselves, like the relevant facts, like for example, like as human beings we learn through stories. So history told right is a story, right? So like I'm writing a book right now on the stock market and how to make money in investments, and mostly it's how not to get killed in investments, right? And the best way to do that. Well, I have that as well.
100x more profitable.
Yeah, but well, I mean, listen, there's ways in the stock market, long term holding the S&P 500 is a very, very strong investment, very, very strong.
No, it's not. I'll go pull up the chart right now. I'll go pull up the S&P 500 for the last 20 years, and you're going to make 3x.
No,
3x.
No, it doesn't matter but you're talking about something that you look back in hindsight at Bitcoin and say that's the best investment. You could look back at Apple and say it's even better. In other words, you could cherry pick an investment if you want, going backwards. But generally speaking, if you just look, for most people, I would say the safest investment by far with the longest track record is the S&P 500 by far. And any sophisticated investor would say that because it's proven that it beats all the hedge funds. It beats individual stock picking. Of course, if you want to cherry pick one stock or one bit or coin, but if you invest all your money across every cryptocurrency, you would say, no, it's not going to work. If you invested across every tech stock, you know what I'm saying? So it's a very solid, and I'm a Bitcoin bull, by the way, just so you know. I'm just saying it's a very good investment though, the S&P.
So, I'll measure it out right now. All right. If you had bought to get a 2x in the S&P, you needed to go back and buy it. You're not going to like this answer. 2,344 days ago to get a 2x. So let me do that math real quick. 2344 over 365. If you bought the S&P 6.5 years ago. No, I know, but
you're missing the point.
No, I'm an expert, bro. I got the point. Here's how it works.
You're talking about, but also it's about large money. People that have money are not going to deploy all their things in Bitcoin. It's not a rational investment.
But you don't have to. So here's how making mad gains work. Now, just for you guys at home watching, I own the world's largest diamond. I called the Bitcoin top on the day. I've been in Bitcoin since 50 cents. My currency I created went up 10,000x in 2 years, which is 1,000,000% before staking. 2 million if you staked it, depending on how long. Free self-help books, free self videos, raised 27 million for charity. I'm as good at this stuff as I can get, and I've called the top 2 cycles in a row. The trick to making money in speculation, which is buying and holding stuff, it's all speculation. The trick is to choose the thing that has the highest base gain so that you don't have to get leveraged up to amplify the gain, which is what a lot of people do in the S&P 500 and elsewhere. And then when volatility hits, you get liquidated and you're out. And then even if it continues the direction that you thought it was going to go, you're no longer in the market because you got liquidated.
Can you go back and say you're using some terms that no one's going to understand? So go back to and say you go back and slow that down and use more layman's terms if you can. Thanks.
So when you own a thing, so let's say that you bought the S&P 500 6.4 years ago. Now you're up 2x on your money today. But let's say you wanted to make that more. You wanted to make more money on that same movement. What you would do is you'd go to your broker and you'd say, listen, Mr. Broker, I think the S&P 500 is going to go up. You see that I've got money. I want to take a loan against my existing holdings so that I can buy more. This is called leverage. And what that does is it amplifies your movement to the upside and it amplifies your loss to the downside. And so if you get 2x leverage, which a lot of people would consider conservative, but in reality is insanely high.
Insanely high. I agree. Insanely high.
And you see in crypto, people get 100x leverage. You get liquidated instantly. Now, liquidated means that the market moved against you. You no longer have enough collateral to support your loan. And what you used to have for collateral gets sold to pay your loan off, and you're out. You have nothing left. You're totally gone. And in the stock market, it's even worse. If you get liquidated on a crypto exchange, usually, okay, they zero you out, you're fine. But if you get liquidated in the stock market, they come for your house. They go to the courts. They come for everything that you've got and everything you will get. They will put a lien against your future earnings. So getting liquidated in the stock market's a real serious deal. He knows. I see him smiling. He knows the story.
Well, I'm writing a book about this, and it's funny because I'm telling this exact story about what you're saying is correct. What people don't understand is that if you're on margin. And if you're on the short side, or if you could lose more. I'm saying you could lose more than your original investment, and then when you're left with it's called an unsecured debit in your account, they can actually go after you for an unsecured debit because of course.
So here's the magic. Here's the trick. Why do I tell you about all this? Because people want to get rich, and they want to get rich quick, and they're willing to take what they think are shortcuts, but actually aren't shortcuts. They just get you to lose all your money. Leverage trading, margin trading, any form of trading is a way to multiply the house's advantage against you. The brokers make money, the exchange makes money, the market makers make money. You get chopped up by fees or liquidated, and you lose everything.
You're gonna love my book, by the way. It's so funny. I literally just wrote this whole. What you're saying is truth. This is 100% true. 100%.
Where are the customers' yachts, right?
Right. Exactly.
So how do you beat this rat race? If you choose the asset which has the highest native gain, which is cryptocurrency, you do not have to invest as much in it. You do not have to take on leverage and loans to try and amplify the movements. You can just sit there and withstand any drawdown. Bitcoin has drawn down 85% 4 times. That's a huge difference. That means you had $100 and now you've got $15 had you bought the top. But every time it's done that, it's gone on to make new all-time highs. When I got into Bitcoin, it was 50 cents, and today it's $24,000. That's a 48,000x return. That's 48 million%. That is a huge, massive, gigantic return that nothing else in history has ever done, And you could call it a bubble, you could call it a Ponzi, you could call it an MLM. None of it's true. Bubbles pop and they don't come back. This one keeps making new all-time highs. Now, I will warn you, I think Bitcoin is trash, even though I've made a lot of money on it. It is old technology, it is slow technology, it is expensive technology, it is the top of its S-curve. It keeps dumping the same amount, but not pumping as hard as it used to. It's falling over. The world's richest guy already bought. Nation states already legalized it. You are not an early adopter. This is a 13-year-old technology. But people think that they're early. From the COVID dip, Bitcoin went down to $3,800. Ethereum went down to $88. I don't remember how low Hex went, but then Bitcoin went up about 20x, Ethereum went up about 60x, and Hex went up hundreds or thousands of X. And why would you want the thing that is less performative? I don't understand why so many people are happy to promote the old, slow, limp gains technology. Now look, a 30x, which Bitcoin did, or a 20x in a year and a half, it's not bad. It's still more money than you would have gotten the S&P 500 in 100 years, probably. I've got the chart in front of me. I could keep scrolling back, and the gains are better now than they have recently because the money's not worth anything. So you're up a lot of gains.
I think, let me say a couple of things, okay? So, what you're talking about here, I understand you're looking back at one investment in Bitcoin at a certain moment in time, and you're drawing this like this is the best investment in the history. Whatever. But the point is that to look at that, and you're right about one thing. I thought you were going to say that Bitcoin could do the same thing again, but that's gone. That's not happening anymore. That's and that was what was bothering me because I like you. I called the first top at like 20, and I never liked Bitcoin early, but at 20,000, I'm like, everyone's saying it's going to 1 million. I'm like, hey, fucking, because you get the sucker, because you need to get the suckers, and they got to think it's going up 100-fold or else they're not going to buy it, right? So my question to you is, okay, so obviously you love cryptocurrency, right? There are some very smart people who hate cryptocurrency. I like cryptocurrency, although I think it's wrought with fraud, and it desperately needs some regulation to stop the fraudsters in there. But
everything's wrought with fraud.
Yeah, that's true. But what happens is, in the absence of regulation, it gets so fucked up.
Regulation doesn't help. Regulation
does help a little bit. It does help somewhat.
No, it doesn't. Payday loans are legal. It's literally 1,000% of your interest.
I'll tell you what. It does. It stops Celsiuses. It stops.
No,
it does. It
no,
does. It's dramatic. Your money will be insured.
They got a pass and turned off their regular retail customers and just took accredited investors and burnt them. And it was legal.
So
it was legal.
If you think that, I know both worlds. Wall Street is not as bad as crypto, and Wall Street's corrupt as shit. Okay, like Wall Street's a sewer of corruption, and crypto's a sewer of corruption times 1,000. There's no disclosure in crypto. That's the problem.
Disclosure is a scam. Disclosure is a fucking scam.
How is that?
You know 100% that no one reads those fucking documents. You know 100% that no one really gives a shit about those disclosures. You know 100% that when you tell someone they could lose everything, they don't really fucking believe you. You would have to spend 50 minutes showing them videos of people crying, having lost it all, for them to have a chance of actually being like, oh, this might actually go down.
So you think disclosure should
no, I think that disclosures are weak, limp dick legalese that doesn't actually save fucking nobody. I think that Enron had disclosures out the ass and lost everybody's money. I think Theranos had disclosures and lost everybody's money and were authorized by everybody. I think that Bernie Madoff was the fucking CEO of NASDAQ and stole everyone's fucking money. So no, I don't think that disclosures helps anybody. It's just like, oh, you knew it was risky. We told you it was risky. You lost all your money. But look, we have a disclosure. I think that's bullshit.
Okay.
I think you should try and save someone who's
been in Wall Street.
It is. Look, it is worse, but I have the real solution, and the real solution.
That's what I'd like to hear, though. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, there's only 3 ways to fight fraud. There's only 3 ways to fight scams. You can give the regulators more money. You can hire more guys. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because they can only act after the fact, and they never get the money back. The money gets lost. All these middlemen. You can't retrieve it. So everyone gets screwed, but a couple people go to jail. But everyone still gets screwed. Furthermore, there's jurisdictional arbitrage. You can give the regulators in the United States all the money you want. And in India and in China, they don't really care. People are still going to get scammed left and right because the American law can't work there as well. And you have countries that can't enforce murder laws, let alone your disclosure laws or whatever, the deal is. So giving regulators more money doesn't help. Disclosures doesn't help if people don't listen. Like they don't listen. I tell you crypto drops 85, 90% really often. And like, I don't even get credit for it. I'm like the only website that says like this stuff drops, and I highlight all the drops, and people don't listen. And then there's the third way. So here's the third way.
Mm-hmm.
You advertise honest, wholesome products with product market fit that have sales pitches with the same tactics that scams use. Limited time offer, mad gains, peer pressure, celebrity endorsement, dark patterns, sales funnels, every single thing that you can think of, but you get them into something honest, whether that's an S&P 500 index fund, whether that's Hex, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum. These are honest products with real product market fit that are innovative, and they do things that nothing else in the world can do currently. When the money is out of these people's hands, they can't get scammed out of it. When it's in an honest product, they can't get scammed out of it because it's not in their hands anymore. If you leave it in their hands, they'll get scammed out of it.
Question. How does the investor know which is the honest one, which is the not honest one?
Unfortunately, they really have to rely on the opinions of experts, and something like do your own research only works if the person doing the research is smart. But if you're an idiot and you do your own research, you're going to get terrible results. And most of the world,
fair enough.
Most of the world is of average intelligence or stupider.
Okay, fair enough. Agreed still. So let's play this out, because I'm really interested where this is going, because so far what you're saying is true. My question though, okay, so you say, right, they can't do their own research because they don't know what they're fucking, and just so you know, like we used to have a joke, like, we would take these stocks public, right? And the prospectus would be so fucking ugly, but no one reads them, of course, right? We used to say they fucking go and they read them in the fucking, with the lights off in the bed, right? No one gives a fuck. I'll take you one step further. Ready for this? Because disclosure is required in the world I came from, we used to send out, we'd open up an account with an investor and we'd send them a letter saying, "Dear Mr. Jones, the stocks you're about to buy are fucking worthless. They are pumped. Listen. They are pumped up. They are manipulated. We dominate. I'm not even making this up. We dominate and control the price, and you're probably buying this at a price that's higher than it's worth. And every dollar that you put in is probably going to zero." So we'd send this, and you know what? It made them want it more. Why? Because they said, fuck, if it's a scam, maybe I'll get it on the right side of the phone. People are fucking crazy. But here's my question, though. Going back, and I agree with what you're saying, but so you said that people can't be trusted, which is true, right? So you said they should seek out experts. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, there's a lot of nuance here.
Okay.
Because the term con man literally means confidence man, a man that gets your confidence to get you to disengage your critical thinking brain, to activate your greed brain, make bad decisions, and lose all your money. You lose, he wins.
Right.
There are a lot of net negative games out there, and they have large marketing budgets, and they push you into doing things that are bad for you. Now, let me give you an example. In sports games and F1 racing all across the world, you're going to see advertisements for margin trading cryptocurrency exchanges.
Right.
And these people are the middlemen that cryptocurrency was designed to get rid of. Crypto was designed to get rid of middlemen. You and your peers trade with each other. You do not use middlemen. You do not give your keys to middlemen. When you do that, the middlemen beat you up with fees and take all your money, and you never see it again.
Right, it's counterintuitive. Centralized exchanges are counterintuitive. They defeat the purpose of crypto, obviously.
Exactly. So I warned everyone directly to remove all of their money from Celsius. They didn't listen. They lost all their money. They're in bankruptcy now. No one listened. I begged them. I pleaded with them. Please do not be one of the headlines. You don't have to be a headline. Get your money into your own hands, not your keys, not your coins.
No
Take
keys,
money
no
out
crypto.
of Celsius.
Beatles taught me that. No keys, no crypto.
It's not your key. It's not your crypto. You're going to be a headline. Millions of dollars are going to get hacked or lost, and you're not going to get your money back. And so as a real cryptocurrency, where there's no middlemen, no counterparty risk, the one I invented, Hex, we can't advertise anywhere. People won't take the ads. But if you're a scumbag exchange that victimizes people, they love your ads because you've got a license from the government to rob people. But cryptocurrencies don't have licenses from the government because we're open source, mostly open source software, depending on what project, and there's no license for it. And
you know how corrupt these exchanges are, but they're fucking unbelievably
disgusting.
No, like really, like bad shit.
Coinbase just got sued for its employees front running listings. Coinbase just got sued for listing securities. Coinbase also
paying payoffs to list payoffs, huge payoffs.
Nah, well, some exchanges, sure. The Coinbase didn't do that one. but they had other violations. And this is just one exchange, and they're probably one of the more honest exchanges. All the other exchanges are fractionally reserved. Oh, we got hacked for 200 million. What happened? Oh, I don't know. We got hacked. We're just missing 200 million. Sorry, can't have your money. What? This sounds like a scam. So, and this happens all the time. So what do you do to solve this? So why am I telling you about this? The original question was, if you have to trust experts, how do you know who to choose? You need to go back in history and see who really got it right and who really got it wrong. When everyone else was telling you Bitcoin was going to 100K, I told you it was going to 10. So far, it went from 69 down to 17.5. Of my 85% drop that I predicted, it's already done 75% of the 85%. And that top call has been in profit every single day for over a year and a half, with one single day. It wasn't in profit, which is a Judas candle, the fake higher high, to move from 65 to 69K. People bought it, went straight down. And you know what they did? They bought it on leverage. Michael Saylor bought Bitcoin on leverage. Three Arrows Capital bought Bitcoin on leverage. Celsius users had leverage, but they didn't realize it was leverage. When you sell your crypto and get a loan against it, you actually sold it, but you don't realize it. And when the price moves down enough, you're going to be forced to sell to cover your position. People don't realize that there's no, like, when they say there's no free money, it used to be true. Oddly enough, in crypto, it's not actually true. There is actually free money. I used to mine Bitcoin for free. It went up 48,000x from when I mined it. We got free airdrops out the yin yang. Hex was free for Bitcoin holders. Tor, like, we've got like 10 different free money airdrops. There's free money out the yin yang crypto.
Let me go back a second, because I want to, because we're in this critical moment here, and the whole thing is, so, okay, you're saying that the person, I want to clarify, the person that the people you should trust are those that you can go back and actually research their track record and say they have been right far more than they've been wrong. So you can look
tricks here. You got to watch. They'll delete their bad calls. Okay, so let me give you, you'll love this one if you're in the stock business. You're going to think this is funny. You have a mailing list of 100 people. You tell 50 of the people the stock's going up. You tell 50 of the people the stock's going down. One of those calls is going to be right.
That's the old gambling hall biz. We did, that's the gambling thing. Yeah.
And then you mail the one that was right. Your next split prediction, half is right, half is wrong. Now 25% of your list got 2 calls right in a row. You do it again, 12.5% of your list got 3 calls right in a row. And there's these scams, like these guys that, so anybody that's on YouTube that has a bunch of referral links under that video wants you to do things that are bad for you. They want you to get beat up by fees. They want you to pay for stupid trading programs instead of just buy a coin that could make you wealthy. They want you to get maximum house advantage against you. Anybody, so everyone that can afford with a marketing budget, everyone that's approved by the government, and everyone that's on YouTube wants to screw you out of your money. They all get paid when you lose. There's so very few of us that actually make money when you win. And so real buyers and holders of cryptocurrencies that just buy and hold, we make money when you win. We all make money when the value goes up. All these other guys, they multiply the house advantage against you. And it's really sad, because how many people on YouTube don't have 1,000 referral links under their video? Nobody, because that's how they get paid.
I don't have one link. Go to my YouTube. You will not see one single. I don't recommend anything. I don't do that. I don't play that game. I just don't do that. But you can go to my YouTube. I've never recommended any. If I do recommend something, I'll hold it forever. By the way, I never sold any crypto I've ever bought. I'm a very, very, very long-term player, and everything I do. By the way,
same here. Same here.
I want to go back. I still want to go back. You're speaking truth right now, which I really appreciate. Like, and when you're gonna crack up with my book, I have a book coming out in about a year. It's literally, it's like the prologue is what you just said. That's the prologue. I tell a story about, like, but just fucking buy it, hold it, and just bye, just fucking stop, right? You just can't trade this shit. And the thought of using, we get the whole thing, right? But so, okay, so if people, how do you find, okay, so you're one person people could look to. Yes. Who's another? Like, how do they find them?
I mean, there are guys that fight scams. Like, there's a guy named CoffeeZilla that busts scammers. Sadly, some of the things that the critics say are true. Like, Peter Schiff is generally wrong about everything, and his fund is one of the worst performing funds in history. However, when he got on TV and said to Mr. Celsius guy, listen, you're paying 8%. You must be taking huge risk to pay that. You're lying if you say you're not. He was right. He told the truth there. So he's wrong about Bitcoin price movements. He's wrong about gold, but he was right about this. You can't pay 8% without risk. That was true.
Wasn't he paying 18? I thought at some point, Celsius.
It was mostly 8. It may have been that high at one.
It went higher at the end.
It could have been.
Yeah. Anyway,
usually these things. in a real scam, they usually have an exit pump where they'll pump the payouts real high before they exit on everybody to get that last like reloaded. Or like I know everything about scams. I'm from Florida, dude. It's the scam capital of the world. I've seen and
Okay.
been scammed by everything.
Well,
I've been scammed by everything.
Oh, where do we find where do the people listen? This is going to be a very widely listened to podcast. Where do they find the right people? Because it's a good
In
point.
general, there aren't any. In general, there aren't any. The people, you have people that will tell you about the technology, like Andreas Antonopoulos. It's useless for a lot of things. He's too old. He doesn't keep up with the new stuff. He doesn't talk about price. Useless. You have guys that look at charts all day. They get you wreck trading. If you see a guy looking at a chart, having indicators, drawing lines, you're going to lose all your money.
Right.
You'll lose all your money. And he's going to sell you a course to learn how to lose your money fast.
Right.
And he's going to tell you.
Analysis is a joke. That's fucking ridiculous.
It can work on really long time frames, but usually you're just not going to zoom out far enough, and you can't play years. You've got degenerate, you know.
For the average person, it's just not going to fucking work.
No, 100%. You'll lose all your
right.
And then, you know, so you've got the guys that talk about the technology, useless as far as price goes. It's the only thing anyone cares about. You got the guys that talk about price. You're going to get wrecked trading, and then you got the guys that show referral links. And I really don't, other than actual cryptocurrency, like I don't follow any of these guys because they're useless to me. They don't have a single piece of knowledge that I could benefit my life with. Like they really, the best thing you can do is buy something that has product market fit, hold it, and wait.
Let me give me an example of something right now that you think is a really great buy.
Nothing until the Grayscale 36% discount goes away, 33% discount. Right now, so Grayscale owns 3% of all Bitcoin. It's a trust that you buy. They have a private placement round. In their private placement round, people give them money. They use that money to buy Bitcoin. They wait 6 months. Now they can sell those shares on retail on OTCQX bulletin board. It usually trades at a 20% premium, but now it's a 33% discount. Why would Wall Street, that loves to buy Grayscale Bitcoin more than real Bitcoin, it usually trades at a 20% premium historically for the 5 or 6 years it's existed. Why would we have a real bull run when you can buy that encapsulated, encumbered, no right to redeem kind of fake, but it's really there Bitcoin?
So it's a theoretical EFT in some respect.
Exactly.
Right?
They really hold it. It's really there. It's really legal as heck, but they do charge a 2.5% overhead. And it's, as long as you can buy Grayscale Bitcoin for a third off, it's no one in legacy is going to buy normal Bitcoin.
Why would that arbitrage still be existing right now? In other words, there's got to be a reason why that arbitrage is there.
You can't arbit because there's no right to redeem. So you can't get their cheap Bitcoin, and you can't sell your spot Bitcoin and buy their cheap Bitcoin because you can't get their cheap Bitcoin out because you don't have a right to redeem when you buy the shares. And so
how long do you have to hold the shares for?
You have to season them for 6 months because they filed a special form with the SEC, but in a normal fund like that, you would need to wait 1 year. But because they did some extra registration, you only have to wait 6 months.
So you think until that
goes away, you're going to get bounces, but you're not going to get a real bull run until that deficit goes away because no one's leaving that much free money on the table. They have 3% of all the Bitcoin. They have $6 billion of Bitcoin.
Why do you think that discount is there?
Well, a lot of guys didn't realize the reflexivity, convexivity. That just means, so for you guys that are watching, reflexivity and convexivity just means that when something goes up, it goes up more. When it goes down more. Like I told you about leverage, taking loans. This company, Three Arrows Capital, idiots, think they're smart. Everyone in crypto has more followers than me, and they're all bankrupt, and I'm at all-time high net worth. And I'm just like, I called everything right forever. When are you guys going to figure out follow?
You remind me a lot of Beatles, by the way.
Yeah, he's got more money than most, and he's been in it as long as me. He's a good guy.
He's a great man. I love him.
Yeah. Rob Beatles is a good guy. So, you know, when Three Arrows Capital got a bunch of retail money into their fund in Singapore, and they bought at a premium Grayscale shares, and now they need money because they're bankrupt because their leverage positions went against them everywhere else. Now they have to sell regardless of the price because they're getting liquidated all of their shares. And because the crypto market went down, everyone wants to sell at the same time, and it causes a cascade. Price goes down, so this guy has to sell. So price goes down more, so that guy has to sell. So price
kind of 1929-ish, right?
Exactly. So it went up on leverage. Now it's going down on leverage. It usually doesn't blow off top, but this time they bought on leverage a double top. And now that everyone that bought that double top and made it happen unnaturally is paying the price by all of their net worth going up. And so that overcrowded trade, that overcrowded grayscale trade now is part of the reason why it's selling in deficit. And the thing is, you thought you're getting a good deal buying at 20% discount. Well, now it's a 30% discount, and spot price is 50% lower. So did you get a good deal? No, you got a bad.
But either way, though, you don't think that's the place to go. Bitcoin anyway. You said it's done. It's already made its big move. So that aside, what else?
I think Ethereum will continue to outperform Bitcoin for sure. Now, look, I'm talking to you about products I didn't found. I like the products I found even more, but I'm going to start with the ones I didn't.
Sure.
So, Bitcoin will still outperform the stock market. So Bitcoin's a risk-on asset. It is kind of like free leverage on the stock market. So when they're printing money, all stocks go up, everything goes up. You get inflation. When they rarely stop printing the money, like now, they start contracting, everything goes down. Everything goes down, except interest rates. That's what they're raising to make everything else go down. And so stocks will go down. Consumer spending goes down, especially in luxury goods. Houses went down 11% last month. Rolexes, I called the top. I've got $10 million of watches. I called the top. They're down 20%. Crypto's down. I mean, Bitcoin dipped 75, but now, it's up at 2x. So maybe it's like down 60 now, from 69K down to 24K. Ethereum dropped 85%. It had a bottom of
870 something. What was it? Yeah. I was buying all the way down, right down to 900. I was still buying. Yeah.
Cool. I think it's still the grayscale. So we've got Mt. Gox coins coming out. There's a couple billion there. We got 70,000 Bitcoin at the Department of Justice seized from the Bitfinex hacker. We've got Ross Ulbricht Silk Road Bitcoin, which I guess they didn't sell yet, but they plan to. There's some really big multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin coming for sale, and we've got that huge grayscale discount. I'm not bullish on the market until some of those things resolve. We will
question. Do you think that there's a narrative that, hey, once regulation comes into Bitcoin, it will open up more defined regulation that would allow large institutions to take bigger positions? You think that's a narrative that makes sense as bullshit?
It's bullshit because it already happened. Like, the laws changed to allow banks to actually custody it. New York has had extremely well-defined laws with the BIT license since 2017, maybe 2018. El Salvador made it legal tender. I went to a Walgreens to buy my mom some like yogurt, and there was a Bitcoin ATM in the lobby. So
that's a bit different though than like the teacher's pension fund, feeling like it's another asset they'd feel comfortable holding for the long term.
No, but like Fidelity sells it, and you can buy it through the Grayscale Trust, and it's as legal as possibly could be.
They sell it, but today does the fund own large amounts of Bitcoin?
You want to know the sad part? I looked at the Celsius bankruptcy documents, and the World Economic Fund is on there, and some really big, I think there's some retirement funds that are on there. They got wrecked on Celsius, something that was advertised as low risk, but was extremely high risk. Hex is advertised as extremely high gain and extremely high risk, because it is. You read the disclaimer, it says, we're lucky this stuff works at all.
Right.
We are lucky it works at all. It's a miracle. So it's like Hex went up 10,000 fold in 2 years. And now it's
where is it? Where is it now?
It went up to half a dollar. It went up to 55.6, and then it dropped down to like 3 or 4 cents, and now it's up at 5.5 cents.
Okay.
People don't realize how big those moves are. If you drop to 3 cents and you're up at 5.5, you just about doubled your money already in like a few weeks. And really, if things have product market fit, they stop dumping at some point. Luna was one of the exceptions.
What's the profit? What is the product market fit for Hex? Explain.
Sure. So Bitcoin was the world's first attempt at making a currency. It failed entirely. Absolutely no one uses it as a currency. It accidentally did something more valuable, which has become a store of value. Lucky it, because the story changed. Oh, we're going to make programmable money. No programs to do anything. Can't even have it wake you up in the morning. Oh, we're going to, Ethereum was the same thing. Oh, we're going to make a world computer. Nope. You can only do 1 million transactions a day. Oh, we're going to make unstoppable computing. Nope. You forked the network to take that hacker's coins back. Oh, we're gonna be money now. That one seems to be working. Good for them. So with Bitcoin, it tried to do currency. It still went up in price 690 million%. It worked out. You still can't use it anywhere. That's fine. It went up 690 million%. Use your Visa, sell it at the exchange, buy whatever you want. It went up 690 million%. I don't care if you can buy coffee with it. I don't care at all. Some of the Bitcoiners do. They're silly. They have less than I. So Ethereum. Okay. Ethereum says, you know what? We want to do more.
That's a lack of gratitude, right?
Like, well,
just take the win. You went up 6 million, just take the win, right?
Exactly.
Don't complain about the fucking coffee, you know?
And they lie about it. They lie about it all the time. It says unconfiscatable. You're like, oh, really? Because they're selling it. The government's selling it all the time from confiscation. So why don't you guys stop lying about that?
Right.
They say it's never been hacked. You're like, really? Well, why did they fork the network in 2010 when someone minted 6 billion Bitcoin by accident? Or why did they have to just patch it again when someone could have minted as many free coins as they wanted 3 years ago? Oops, it has been hacked, but you guys aren't paying attention. They just lie about it. And it's unnecessary because it's awesome enough on its own, truthfully. So Ethereum said, okay, you know what? It's stupid that this network can only just trade one ticker, the Bitcoin ticker. Why don't we let it carry all the tickers? And then everyone can have trustless computation. And so Hex is on Ethereum. Ethereum is on Ethereum. Uniswap is on Ethereum. Peer-to-peer trustless trading with no middlemen, no counterparty risk. Miraculous, wonderful breakthrough. I carried Uniswap on my back and made it popular myself. Hex was the majority of trading on that thing for months and months and months. I did more to promote it than the founders. That's a huge, amazing innovation. Real world important innovation. So we've got on-chain exchange with Ethereum. We've got stable coins with Ethereum. You're a retailer and you want to accept crypto? Well, you better get to a stable coin and the volatility can make you bankrupt. You thought you got paid, it went to half the price. Now you lost money in the deal. You can't do it. You need stable coins. You need peer-to-peer trustless trading with no middleman, no counterparty risk. You need time deposit, which is what Hex does. The only thing that works in personal development is delaying gratification. Do the thing that's hard now, but right for the long term. The only thing that works in investing is I'm going to have less money now, but I'm going to have more money later. Imagine if you could have been forced yourself to hold your Bitcoin from $1 to $69,000. But so many people sold on a 2x, a 3x, a 10x. They sold their own future, but they didn't know it because they didn't lock themselves up for time. In Hex, you lock yourself up for time, and the whole time you're sitting there, you're making interest, you're making inflation. The same thing the Bitcoin miners give to themselves all the time for destroying the environment, Hex holders get for free without having to destroy the environment because we mine time, and time doesn't cost anything, kind of. But destroying the environment is very costly. And those miners, they not only destroy the environment, they sell down the price. In Hex, we don't have to sell down the price to pay miners to destroy the environment. It's more efficient. There's less negative externalities. So the price performance is superior. So basically, so Hex is just Bitcoin with a proof of work change. Bitcoin inflates to pay miners to destroy the environment, to dump the price, but they need it for network security. Hex inflates to reward stakers to defend the price. And we already piggyback the Ethereum network that's already secure, so we don't have to lose any money because they're already losing it. They're already paying their own miners.
What's Hex? Is there a use case for Hex other than just is it a store of value? Is it a
store value?
And so it's you buy it to make money.
It has accidental upsides that are accidental. For instance, we've received a lot of free money airdrops because people build on top of it. Like you can't trade your Hex stakes, but then someone made a product that allows you to make a contract that then makes the stake and then you can trade the shares. So there's things that people built on top of it that are accidental. We have lower transfer fees than Bitcoin. We have higher throughput. We have more security. Bitcoin is more likely to be hacked than Hex is. These are accidental, awesome extra things. The real claim to fame.
What's the worst part of Hex? What are the downsides of Hex? What do you think is the bad part of Hex? Like if you had to be the devil, play your own devil's advocate.
Sure. I think a lot of people that are new to the market fall for memes I have to de-educate them of. So for instance, centralized ownership. People say centralized ownership is terrible, which is weird. Which is weird because all of the most successful entities in the world have extremely centralized ownership and control. The United States has one guy that can launch the nukes. One guy. Families have like one guy that kind of sets the rules, usually. In the animal kingdom, if you don't like the human version of that, the animal kingdom is even more obvious.
Right.
Companies have one president. So everything ends up having such like Mark Zuckerberg.
There's a huge cost of decentralization, so it's got to be a really big benefit. Yeah, agreed, 100%. Yeah.
So like decentralization is the opposite of vertical integration, and vertical integration is the most efficient. You get the least middlemen, the least latency.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
So Bitcoin has. So first off, people think Bitcoin ownership's decentralized. And then I show them that 42% of all Bitcoin sits in 2,000 addresses, but it doesn't register in their head. Then I show them that like 2% of all Bitcoin addresses hold like 90% of all the coins. Still doesn't register in their head. So centralized ownership and control is awesome. That's why Tesla has done so well. That's why Facebook has done so well. That's why Amazon has done so well, because the founders own and control massive portions. Stuff that's actually decentralized, like you could say the government, sucks. Nobody's good at anything. It's all trash. And so I have to de-educate them of the centralized ownership. And if you look at Hex's ownership, there is massive centralization there. You know, there's so many people sacrificed for the new coins. Well, so the first sacrifice was to support freedom of speech and the Sense Foundation, a charity to do medical research. It raised $27 million for them. Then the next sacrifice was for freedom of movement, because COVID really messed that up for everybody. Everyone was basically in house arrest without committing a crime. I'm not a fan. And then that one generated a lot of, so there was an address, if you sent money to it, you sacrificed it, you get nothing in return. But because some people noticed that you did that, you're gonna get free coins on this new network. I've forked the Ethereum network. You can go use it now. The test net, it's fun. You can play with all your coins. In the bear market, what could be better than playing with your coins for fun? No risk. Go to pulsechain.com and you can go play with your free coins. Eventually the main net will come out, hopefully soon. And then you'll have a copy of the Ethereum network with higher throughput, lower fees, world's largest free airdrop. You're gonna get a copy of every single coin you have on the Ethereum network, including Ethereum itself, on this new chain for free. And you don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. It just works. And it's been working for months. We just want the security to be perfect, like Hex's was. And there's some things that we want to fix to make them perfect. So when you're doing the world's largest free airdrop, it's very attractive to people. And I don't even remember what the hell the question was. What was the question?
No, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Oh, the worst things about Hex. Yeah, so I have to educate people. It has centralized ownership, but that's awesome. It did 10,000x like that in 2 years. Aren't you happy I educated you about centralized ownership power? Second, the liquidity. It has lower liquidity than other things. Okay, so what's liquidity mean? Liquidity means if you want to buy, there's always someone to take the other side. If you want to sell, there's always someone to take the other side. Okay, so like if you want low liquidity on the sell side so that the price moves up more because there's less for sale. And that's what the time locking does. People on average lock for 7 years. That's a long time. That's Nobel Prize worthy. No one has ever locked up this much money for this long. You buy a house, you can sell it. You buy a T-bond, you can sell it. T-bill or a bond. But if you lock up your Hex for 15 years, you're not getting it back out until 7.5 without losing principal. You can get out, if you serve half your time, you can get out by just losing your interest. And it's prorated. You know, the longer you stay, the less penalty you pay. If you do what you said you're going to do, you don't pay any penalty at all. You do very well. You mint yourself a new Hex. So the claims to fame for Hex are no counterparty risk. Vast majority of the trading is on chain. No one can shut it down. No one can stop it. I die, website goes offline. Doesn't matter. More secure than Bitcoin. Up 250x versus Bitcoin. Up 70x versus Ethereum. It did 10,000x versus the dollar. 100% perfect, flawless uptime. Microsoft goes down. Google was down yesterday for half an hour globally. Hex has never been down. So it's vastly superior, unique, great logo, great founder. Hex.com, 3-letter dictionary.com. That's all the upside. Downside. You think that more volume is good. You don't realize that's how you measure people being victimized. Market makers make money on volume. Exchanges make money on volume. Users lose money on volume. Lower volume's better. But everyone looks at the wash trading, 1 million bids and asks, 1 million trades in between the bid-ask spread, never moves the price, but tons of volume, fake wash traded garbage. People think that's better. They're stupid. People think that lower inflation is better. Here's a real mind wrecker, okay? Inflation sucks, makes the prices of everything.
Nothing's worse than deflation. Is a fucking disaster.
Well,
deflation's bad.
Bitcoin's highest gains were when its inflation was the highest, and its lowest gains or its inflation was the lowest. Fact, the best time to buy Bitcoin was when Satoshi owned 100% of the coins. Fact, the best time to buy Bitcoin was when there was no liquidity and it was only traded on one exchange and everyone called it a scam. Fact. And I have to de-educate people of they're like, oh, but Hex isn't listed anywhere. You're like, yes, that's right. That's awesome. You're in before everyone else. Oh, there's only 100,000 stakers. Yep, that's right. Not everyone knows about it yet. That is your opportunity. In speculation, your opportunity is how many people know about it now and how many people will know about it in the future. It doesn't matter if it's honest or a scam or what. That's why the price moves. So
for every Bitcoin like that, there's many that don't work out. You know, so
tons,
like that. So how do you
tons.
know
The
that
vast
Hex is the
majority go,
next? Right, to zero or whatever.
well,
Or
it's
just
already,
don't.
usually, I think if you do timing analysis on this, I think that most crappy coins tend to fail in short order after they're founded.
Mm.
Hex is now 1,000 days old. In cryptocurrency, that's an eternity. Hex has been around for about half as long as Ethereum. Ethereum is 2,560 days old, and Hex is like 987 days old. We're 40%.
Stall years in cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, like we're 38% as old as Ethereum with perfect,
Right.
flawless operation. How much more opportunity do you want to miss to be like, oh, that was a good thing? Like, no,
Mhm.
there is risk to the stuff, but that's why the gains are so amazing. Like, so if you buy a scam and you hold it longer, you're wrecked and you're going to stay wrecked. If you buy something with product market fit, look at the fundamentals. Are we on-ramping new users? Is the stake length going up? Are the fiat on-ramps increasing? Are people in the Hex community on television more, on news more? Are people becoming more aware? Are we on-ramping new wallets? Are these real wallets? Hex is amazing in that it's the only cryptocurrency that's ever existed where you have a chart of future market supply. You know when someone can dump the price because you see their expiration date in the future. You know whether they restake or not usually because you can see what their history has been. You know what other coins they hold because you can see it all publicly in their wallet. It's the most open and transparent trading that's ever existed in the history of man.
Mhm.
Nowhere in the stock market, if you have a level 2 NASDAQ, you can't see any of this crap. You don't know what other coins they're holding. You don't know when their unlocks are occurring. This is really a miracle in finance, and so few people know about it.
So what he's saying there with the level 2 means you show all the bids and asks, right? Rather than just on your computer, you see one price, a bid and ask. On level 2, you see all the different market makers and what they're
Right.
willing
You
to
can see
do. But
who you're
yeah,
betting against.
yeah.
And then there's a lot of
You see the depth.
spoofing and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
pull their bids and there's dark pools and they're like, we have none of that crap in Hex. It is the most clean and honest market you'll find with no middlemen, no counterparty risk. It's miraculous in that way. You've seen the ugly, dirty underbelly. We solve so much of that, man. Really, we do. Now, does the price dip a lot? Hell yes, it does. Price dips a lot. We've seen 6 or 7 65% plus dips. You know what it did after every one of them? It made a new all-time high.
Right.
So they're usually up. They've historically been wonderful opportunities.
Let's move away from Hex for a second.
Sure.
What else? What else out there do you like? Because that's
I
not.
think Ethereum is fabulous, which is why I've copied the network. If you want anonymity, you have to use Ethereum. Now we got bad news, guys. We got bad news. FinCEN, or the Treasury, just kind of. I'm not an expert, I'm not a lawyer, but I think they just declared Tornado Cash kind of illegal.
They did. I think it was. Yes, I think it was part of this. Was it part of this bill? I heard that yesterday. I just saw that flash by
Well,
the
it's not a
screen.
bill. So what happened was, they have the OFAC, the Office of something, OFAC has a list of people that if you trade with them, you're going to jail. They
Right.
have their if you deal with these people,
The sanctions list. What? Yeah.
you deal with these people, you're going to jail. And so somebody on the sanctions list, I think it was North Korea, deposited some money to Tornado Cash. And then the Treasury is just like, oh, well, you know what? Screw the honest people. This is like, they probably also use cars and gasoline and the dollar. And I think if you banned cars and gasoline and the dollar, the world would be a worse place.
Right.
It's better that the criminals can use technology and that other people can use technology because there's so many more honest people than dishonest people. But unfortunately, they kind of decided to add some of those addresses and the website to the sanctions list, which puts people in a real rough spot. Because look, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know what happens if we withdraw your money from Tornado Cash now. I don't know.
My guess is they probably
Seems unfair.
allow they probably allow you to do closing transactions and probably not opening transactions. I would guess. No, you sure about that?
To tell you the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if this was vast overreach and that people presented themselves with great risk. Now, there was an Ethereum developer that went to North Korea and taught those guys how to try and make their money anonymous. He went to prison. His name, I don't remember his name, but that guy went to prison for, I don't know, I think he got like 8 or 20 years or something, somewhere in between 8 or 20. It's very easy to get time in America, which is why I love coming. Hey, you want to hear a story? You want to hear a story?
Where are you, by the way?
I got stopped by the police. I'm in America. I don't want to tell you where. I'm visiting my mom.
Okay.
It's hot here, so it's in Southeast America.
Okay.
I got stopped by the police. Guess what I was doing?
What?
I was shopping. I bought so much stuff at Best Buy. Literally, they called the police and had the police come and interrogate me and detain me to see if I was doing credit card or fraud. I was using my credit card in my name, my ID, my name. Bought my mom a TV. I've never been stopped by the police in like 15 years. Actually, I got pulled over once in Sweden. I was driving a Ferrari in like November, and they're like, "It's weird. We never see them this late in the year." I'm like, you pulled me over for that? So stupid. So in like 15 years, I got pulled over once for driving a Ferrari in Sweden. But like, America is such a screwed up country, and the payment rails are so bad. And I know I used to retail electronics, and I had people perform credit card fraud on me, and I had to call the Secret Service, and I had to draw my gun, and the guy tried to run me over his car. Crazy story. Florida, crazy stories. I got stopped by the police for shopping in America. And I want to go back and mess with this lady and get her job, basically. But if I'm doing that, I'm not helping my mom install a bidet. I'm not doing live streams. I want to go get my vengeance because I'm pissed about this. I don't want to get stopped for being your best customer. That really bothers me. You guys should high five me and help me carry this stuff to the car. You shouldn't be calling the police on me for shopping. It's really disgusting. But why are they doing it?
How much did you spend that they would
Just about, I mean, I bought a TV for $7,000, and then I came back and bought like 3 scanners to scan all these photos for the movie. And then I came back and bought like, another grand of stuff. And it was just like, it was under 10 grand total over 3 days.
That's weird.
It really wasn't much. They got me. And then on the $1,000 day, they were like, oh, okay, let's get this guy. So why are they doing that? One, maybe they're horrible people. Two, in America, they don't use chip and pin like they do in Europe. And so it's easier to get chargebacks. In America, you can look at somebody's card, write down the numbers, and write them with a card writer, and then go spend on that card. And no one knows the difference because you don't have a real pin. So that they can lose chargebacks, right? Like if their signature don't match, they can lose chargebacks. But in Europe, they don't lose any chargebacks. They can use the pin, and then they don't lose chargebacks. So I'm getting stopped by the police because America doesn't know how to do billing properly. You should require the pin. I had my credit card to pay for food for taking my friends out. They don't even need a pin. They just need a signature. That's stupid. It's insecure. It has a chip on it. It's got a pin. It's me if I have the pin. Why are we using this insecurity crap that makes you call the police and makes you lose money to chargebacks and makes these criminals rich? It's just stupid. Cryptocurrency solves that, by the way. They're worried about me taking money back from them. In cryptocurrency, if I paid with crypto, no one can take that money back from them. So I was stopped by the police because, one, America sucks. That's why I don't spend much time here. Sorry, guys, 35,000 gun deaths a year. I don't like having to wear a vest. I don't like having to carry a piece. I don't like living in the Wild West. And look, you may live someplace where it ain't bad, but the places I go near the water, where the excitement is, it's bad. You live in Miami, LA, any place that's near a port, it's just getting wild. So I thought it was funny that I got stopped by the police for the first time in like 15 years for shopping. I got pulled over on foot for shopping in the store. What?
How about, let's go past Ethereum. I'm interested in anything else that people maybe wouldn't know.
Monero tried to make an anonymity. So Monero, it's harder. Like Monero attempts to do anonymity and is probably the best way to get anonymity that's not Tornado Cash, and particularly since Tornado Cash just got slapped, I guess. So I guess Monero is a very useful technology now. It would be more useful if more people accepted it, or if you could get a stable coin tied to it. But right now, if you buy Monero and you get anonymous, now what are you going to do with it? It's hard, there's not that many exchanges that support it. I'm not even going to name the exchanges that support it because I don't want them getting messed with. So there are some exchanges that support it. Find them if you need them. Anonymity is a human right. Privacy is a human right. It's a protected human right. It's why no one else has your email password. It's why you have curtains. It's why you lock your door. And you need it for business. I need to hide my customer list from you. I need to hide my vendors from you. I need to hide what I pay my vendors. I need to hide my employees pay for my other employees. I need privacy in my financial transactions to operate a business. And furthermore, if I'm a billionaire and I go to buy a TV, I don't need somebody looking at my address where it's getting delivered and then a history of all my finances since the beginning of the blockchain. It's not okay. We need mixing for financial privacy. We need privacy. It's a human right. I'm tired of this sick, fake law enforcement where they do fake law enforcement and attack the money instead of the criminal. Go attack the criminal. Go hire more investigators. Go get more subpoenas. Go get more injunctions. Go do the real police work on the ground and stop this stuff, this fishing net stuff that traps everybody, screws everybody. Everyone's got to do more paperwork now. Everyone's got to get screwed now. And the majority of people are honest. It's not good for society.
What do you think about what happened the other day, yesterday, actually, at Mar-a-Lago, with raiding the ex-president?
I just heard about it, and it sounds terrible to me. It sounds truly terrible. As a matter of fact, I mean, this is what you would see in a third world country. A person's,
Right.
I mean, look, you see a lot of guys think they're going to catch an indictment, they run for president. So you saw McAfee run for president. You saw the EOS dude, the EOS dude down in Puerto Rico now, Brock Pierce, you saw him run for president. Anytime somebody thinks a charge is coming, they're going to run for president because there's a law that, you know, if someone's running for president, you can't indict them, apparently. That's maybe an urban legend, but I think it's an actual thing. But if that's the case, and it's worth
They don't
having,
announce. They typically don't announce an investigation or bring a charge right before, like, within 3 months of
but
an
if all your
election.
buddies catch subpoenas, you kind of know what's up.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
doors are getting kicked in, you know, so like, I don't, if it's good to protect political candidates from the existing candidates' Justice Department, then, or the incumbent's Justice Department, then it's probably good not to like prevent political candidates from running by just screwing with them or deplatforming them or removing their speech or like straight up, like, it's not okay. This is what you would expect in like a communist country with a dictator, that you go shoot or otherwise harm the people
Right.
that are
Shocking.
running an honest competition. You know,
It's
let the
shocking.
people decide. Now, look, I don't know anything about it, but I don't. What did they do? Did they just raid his house? And
It's apparently over, records that were removed from the White House, but just the whole, listen,
didn't Hillary Clinton have a whole email server that she ran
obviously,
herself?
right? Of
Like,
course.
just,
The appearance of this is just so toxic. And I'm shocked as an American citizen, because yes, you're right. It reminds you very much of what would happen in a third world country, a banana republic, where they, go after the last sitting president, whether party's out of power, the new party uses weaponizes the Justice Department. It's crazy.
It's like Biden's son's laptop. So let me get this straight. How is your son in the country getting paid to the place that we're sending money to now not relevant? Explain that to me. How is your son doing illegal things in that country where he obviously probably wouldn't belong except for some type of funky business? And now we're over there spending billions, not news. How is this not news? And they've locked up everybody. That laptop was a rumor. No, it wasn't a rumor. It was real. I've seen the pictures. And then they locked up everybody that had anything like near it. Like anybody, like they did everything they could to try and make it so that didn't come out. And you're like, hey man, once it hits the internet, Streisand effect, it's out and it ain't coming back in a jar. So your son is on tape smoking crack and hanging out with what looks to be some people that I don't know, man, probably should be hanging out with. Some of the pictures I've seen with young people, I don't want to get cancel cultured, so I'm being real careful with my words here. How is this not news? And by the way, why is 80-year-old people that can't drive in charge of the country? If I wouldn't let you drive my Ferrari, I don't want you in charge of my country. Period. If you're 80, stop. Go enjoy your last couple of years, man. Stop.
Yeah.
We got better people in America. We really
embarrassing. It's very embarrassing.
It's not okay. I mean,
the guy's senile. He's senile. I mean, he was never
real,
sharp.
man.
So he was never sharp when he was younger, but like he is literally senile. So like I would say, you see this video of him looking at a teleprompter and saying, "Yeah, end of quote, repeat sentence." Like I'm like, what the fuck? I think he's the president of the United States. It's really
I don't want
shocking.
80-year-old president, man. And look, I donated I raised 27 million to help people not age and to like stay healthy for longer. But we ain't there yet, man. These people need to take a nap and stop messing with everybody's lives. Basically, we have more qualified people. I'm more qualified.
So what's next for you? What are you doing? So you're on Hex now? Is your project? That's it?
Hex is kind of like on autopilot, man. So the community put together money for a NASCAR. They put together money for all types of crazy stuff. Hexicans are rich. Some guy just delivered some guy spent about $500,000 to have a painting made and deliver it to me by private jet at a castle. I was in a castle in France, which is funny because I was installing a bidet 12 hours ago. He spent $500,000 to have an artist named Romero Brito, who sold $250 million of his own art just last year. He's the highest earning, most licensed artist in history, which is crazy to me because I'd never heard of him previously. He flew on a private jet to deliver me this painting of me, a portrait that a Hexican had just, out of his riches that he made, donated. And I like it. It's the best gift I ever got. You're gonna fly here in a private jet with an artist and give me this huge,
Right.
But now I got to ship it because I'm not living next to the castle, so it's costing me 10 grand to ship the painting to where I live. So I got to get a good crate.
I've just been through that. Someone did a painting of me, and I couldn't get it shipped. It was the biggest
It's a
pain in the
nightmare.
fucking ass. By the way,
Yeah,
I just
dude.
had that shipping it just from New York to Florida. I couldn't get it shipped. It's fucking so funny. Like the gift that keeps on giving, right?
Right.
So if Hex is on oil,
So new
you're
movie.
the kind of
We
guy
got,
that
we got a
just
new
right.
movie. We
Yeah.
got a movie coming out end of the year.
What's the net title?
The Highest of Stakes. TheHighestOfStakes.com. Check the trailer out. Awesome. I've seen like the pre-release of it. It looks amazing.
Who is playing you?
Me. I know.
Oh, you
it
play
sucks.
yourself.
I have to work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I am not. I feel sorry for those guys having to like shoot. Hey, we're making a movie about software. Oh, that sounds crappy. Oh yeah, and the founder's like a fat old dude. Oh man, this is gonna suck. Like, but it actually is amazing. Like, it's really, really good.
I can't wait. I'm gonna watch the trailer. Yeah.
People make a lot of money and then they lose a lot of money, and there's like a lot of drama. It's crazy. And then we got pulsechain.com, world's largest free airdrop. That's coming out hopefully soon, like months. And then Hex.com is doing its thing. Books, t.me/sci-vibe. And then I got to do more charity stuff, you know? And I got to take delivery of my diamond. I bought the world's largest diamond, but it's still sitting at Sotheby's. I actually have to take delivery of it and pay the import tax or ship it to Geneva and leave it in the
How
freezer.
big is the diamond?
555.55 carats.
Wow.
The longest stake you can make is 5,555 days. It's the Quattro Cinco Club. And then this diamond was 555.55 carats. And I'm like, and you guys accept crypto for it? Okay, obviously it was made for me, obviously. So had to buy it. Even these shoes, I got these Louis Vuitton shoes.
Let's see.
These Louis Vuitton shoes are crystal. These were $5,550. So they were just missing 1 5. But sometimes you're just like, man, this stuff was made for me, you know? Like,
so that's your number, fives. The fives. You go for the fives.
Yeah, Quattro Cinco Club. So I think that's the big stuff, man. Hex.com's on a big dip. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think pulsechain.com is going to change a lot of lives. We got 60,000 people in the Pulse Chain chat. We only got 40,000 in the Hex chat. It's 50% more popular, and people just understand it better. Oh, it's Ethereum, but it only deflates. There's no inflation. It saves the environment. It's like, it's free money. People love free money, man. That's what I wrote self-help books. Crypto's not even in them. I teach people how to do business, you know, start your own business, hire employees, have a unique benefit statement, you know, cut out middlemen. But crypto invalidates it all. You make more money buying the right coin and shoving your thumb up your butt and paying capital gains rate when you eventually sell than you do working hard and paying personal income tax rate. And you're just like, you get tax advantages. You don't have to work. The guys that started Coinbase, they're like the B round investors in Coinbase didn't make as much money if they just bought Bitcoin. If the guy that founded Tony Gallippi, the guy that founded BitPay, he would have made more money just buying Bitcoin than starting a Bitcoin business. Successful businesses have crap results compared to cryptocurrency. It's just, the world is different now. It really is. Now, it won't always be this way. Eventually, everyone will be in crypto, and these gains won't be the same. But as long as so few people are out of crypto, or so few people are in it, and so many aren't in it, it leaves these potentials at absolutely insane levels. Even the limp, weak-gained Bitcoin did a 20x in about a year and a half. That's you and your grandpa's lifetime earnings in the S&P 500. It's insane. So, like, if you get cryptocurrency right, you never have to work another day in your life. If you get it wrong, you lose everything.
So, which is the coin to buy right now? Ethereum, you think?
I mean, Monero probably gets. I didn't look at any charts. I would guess Monero would bounce based on the bad news with Tornado Cash, its competitor. But crypto is weird, right? So I would have to look. Like, does someone have leverage positions open right now? Is there some other news that's going on? But my guess would be, if I looked at a chart, Monero had already probably bounced 20%. If I had to guess. You want me to look? Let's go see.
I'm talking for like the next 2 to 3 years.
Hex.com, pulsechain.com, Ethereum. Ethereum's got a switch from proof of work to proof of stake. If they pull it off, it's going to be a great reduction in emissions, which should lower the supply. You're also getting that free airdrop with Pulse Chain on all your Ethereum assets. I think Bitcoin will continue its S-curve limp kind of. It'll get back up. It'll eventually make 100K new all-time high, but it'll just get there very slowly. Unfortunately, good projects in crypto, in my opinion, only launch 1 or 2 times a year, and bad projects launch every 10 minutes.
It's just fucking truth.
Yep. I wish I could give you a big list of awesome stuff, but other than Ethereum, Monero, Bitcoin, Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX. PulseX is our version of Uniswap, that peer-to-peer trustless trading. When I say trustless, it means that you ain't got no middleman. It's a weird word. You should come up with a better word than trustless, because it sounds like,
Well, the middleman supposedly someone you could trust. So no middleman means trustless.
Even the
Anyway,
New York Stock Exchange published bad price tickers. People get the blockchain so wrong. The blockchain is only useful for basically currency and not much else. Why? Because we're willing to pay the worst fees, the lowest throughput, the highest latency, the worst database.
So everyone can see it. Exactly.
Exactly.
The pay, right? Exactly. Of course.
And so if you try and put the New York Stock Exchange price feed on there, they had to go back and edit it because they made a mistake.
Of course, right.
If you have it on a real blockchain, nobody can go back and edit it. And so what do? You introduce an admin key. Okay, well, now if you got to trust this guy not to edit it, he can just run it on AWS. You can just run it on a normal database. You don't need the blockchain if you trust.
Right.
That's why you can't put real estate on the blockchain. Hey, man, here's a house. It's on the blockchain, right? Oh, it got swallowed in the storm. Who's going to edit the blockchain? Oh, well, someone has to. And that guy is a point of failure right there. Anytime the blockchain touches the real world, you can't trust it anymore. The blockchain is only truly trustless when it's digital to digital. That's the reason that you see a lot of these scams, because they let their crypto go, their keys, into somebody else's hands. It leaves the digital world, goes into the real world in somebody else's hands, and then they scam. They lie. They say they're going to give you big returns, and then they just steal all your money. If picking up pennies in front of freight trains, you're going to risk your whole stack for 7% on something that goes up thousands of percent if you just wait. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. X.com solves that. You're in yield while you're holding your keys. No middleman.
There you go, buddy. Listen, I appreciate the time, by the way. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's going to come out in like 6 months. And got to say, everybody, I would follow really what this man's saying. He knows a lot of stuff. You know, listen, everyone's got to make their own decisions on stuff. But clearly, I'm a believer in long-term holding, no leverage. I think that's
you changed. You used to hate crypto. Now you saw the light.
Well, yeah, but I don't like all. I like very few. It's really, it's almost like Bitcoin. I always say Bitcoin, Ethereum. I never recommend anything else, really. I mean, I think that here's why I really came around with it. Number one is that I was right when I called it. It was like 20,000 going down to 3, because at that time it was just so obvious to me what was going on. Obvious. But the person that changed my mind was Beatles. Nice. That's who educated me. So, you know, he was the first person that really talked to me in a very sober way about it. It's going to $1 million. It's going to replace the dollar. I was like, oh, fucking stop, you know? Yeah. And that's when I first started looking at the actual technology, which you're right, has a lot of limits. But this one, I'm a believer in this one overriding point, that it's this issue of having everyone being able to look at the ledger is just with printing money. It's so fucking toxic what happens behind closed doors with debasing currencies. It's so screwed up that alone is just worth so much money. And that's why like decentralization doesn't work for many things. But for this, it's worth it, because in doing that, it stops every king, every government, every reserve, call it federal or not. They always, I've never met one that didn't eventually debase their currency, right? 100%. And that's 100%. Why it's just that advantage is so powerful. I don't care how much fucking emissions it has or how slow it might be. As a store of value, it's very, very compelling. It really is.
I got one question for you.
Sure.
I got a lot of questions. I mean, look, I'm sure everyone beats you up about all the movie stuff. I want to make people rich. I'm here in the States. I'm usually in Europe. I don't like playing the Wild West. Who else should I talk to? You know, I'm here. I'm in person. I'm willing to fly around. Who do you think I should talk to?
About what?
I'll talk about anything. Yeah, I'm real fun to talk to.
Of like podcast stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it depends what you're looking to do. You're looking for people to that know flash, just get exposure. Like, for example, there's a lot of podcasts with big followings out there. I've been on Logan Paul's podcast. I've been on the Nelk Boys podcast. I've been on a lot of them.
So I will. If you enjoyed the chat we had, I think I can save a lot of people, man. I think I can really help a lot of people.
I will. I'll definitely give you some. We have his you have his number. Perfect. Yeah, great. Let me do it. I'll give you a list of people. I'll spread. Yeah, I can certainly hook you up in that regard. So,
Jordan, I appreciate. I loved your. I can't wait to see your next book, and I love it when people that are been on the other side of the phone, because I used to do phone sales, and I understand the adrenaline rush. And I got to tell you, few people really understand it. It's a big deal, man. It's like winning the ball game, bro.
I know. It's a superpower, right? When you have it, yeah. All right, buddy. Great to see you. Everybody, check out Richard Hart. He's an awesome dude. Very, very smart, full of great advice. Take care, buddy.
Ciao, man.